and Dwayne Wade right at the body of Anderson Varejao. Welcome to your Kodak moment, Anderson Varejao. Curry way down top. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. I guess we'll just go over tonight's games.
Well, I still haven't done football.
Oh, right. Okay. Let's do
The Ravens looking great. Lamar Jackson might just be the reincarnated Michael Vick.
Yep.
Hopefully he doesn't get into any issues with
dogs.
Yeah. You know, the Ravens defense is looking damn good as well, and now that they have a real pulse on offense. The biggest thing about the Ravens offense that's super interesting is that they always have 3 tight ends on the field. So you never know whether they're going to run or throw the ball because all 3 tight ends are great pass catchers and also good blockers. So they're going to overpower you running. And we really saw that against the Patriots defense, which was supposed to be so great and so historic, but got destroyed because Bill Belichick couldn't scheme around it.
Yeah.
And I know it's only a regular season game. You can't put too much stock into it. But look, Bill Belichick is arguably the greatest mind football has ever seen and probably the greatest coach football has ever seen. And he just got completely outplayed by a second-year quarterback.
Yeah.
And I really wanted the Giants to get Lamar Jackson. I wanted them to trade a second and a fifth or something, second and a fourth for that 32nd overall pick. I thought that would have been great. We got Will Hernandez with that second pick, which is awesome for our O-line. But look, we could have got... I would have loved to have Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley would be the most game-breaking duo of, like, not of all time, but, like, in the league right now, absolutely. Yeah, that's my thoughts on the Ravens. I'm so happy the Patriots aren't undefeated anymore. I'm so happy the Patriots got knocked back down to earth. I continue to believe in the 49ers. You know, other than that, we see that the Falcons are the biggest disappointment of the year. They are a complete waste of talent. Everyone in that organization needs to be gone. Look, we got so much going on. We got a strong set of teams. We got the Seahawks, the Saints, the Patriots, the Ravens, the 49ers. Who else is there? We got, well, the Chiefs, the Texans. We got a lot of different teams that could legitimately make the case for making the Super Bowl. And like, what else is there that you like that there isn't? I mean, it's hard to explain right now.
Yeah.
We're in a great place with the NFL where there's a lot of teams that are really good, and the tanking teams could get good real fast.
Yeah.
Now, for the Giants, because, you know, I'm a Giants fan, got to talk about the Giants a little.
Of course.
The Giants need Chase Young in the draft. He could be the next Lawrence Taylor. I'm legitimately that high on him. I know people hate Ohio State, but I am that high on him. He is arguably the best defensive prospect to come out of the draft in the past 5 years, and that's even considering how much I loved Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
He looks that good. He looks like a franchise edge rusher, franchise defensive end, and that's what the Giants need. But he's gonna go top 5, if not top 3. As for people saying that Tua is no longer the first overall pick, just because a player hasn't been asked to do as much, because a player hasn't made any major strides, doesn't mean you got to start over like estimating his low points. That's what happened with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
And the whole league is paying right now. I don't think Joe Burrow has shown improvement. I still don't have him I think he's my 3rd ranked quarterback this class.
Wow.
He's made huge improvements, sure, but you don't take someone who's like gotten better this year as opposed to someone who's always been good and continues to be good. I know people are saying that Tua has the greatest receiving core in the whole all of college football, which is true, but it still takes a lot of skill to run that, and he's still the single best quarterback in this year's draft class. And I think people saying, oh, you don't take Tua, you trade down, you let someone else go for Tua, and you get what's the name? Trevor Lawrence next year. I don't believe in that. You take your franchise quarterback when you can get him.
Yeah.
People were so high on Tua a year ago, and I don't understand how you flip like that. He's been great this year. He may not have been game-breakingly great, but he's still been great, and you don't just let that pass, especially for the Dolphins that have 4 different first-round picks this year, I believe. They have the Steelers, they have Texans, they have their own. Is that it? That might be it.
Have
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And there you go. Like, they need all these players, and they need an offensive line more than anything. There are 2 good offensive linemen in the top 15 of this year's class, and the Steelers aren't looking that much more improved. The Dolphins, although they won a game, are still going to be trash.
Yeah.
So they certainly, and then the Texans have been great. So, I mean, that's a later pick. But even then, you just have a lot of good players there. And you have the potential to move up. You have the potential to move down. You take your quarterback, you take an offensive lineman, and you build from there. The Dolphins' defense, despite their horrible start in the year, has some playmakers. The Dolphins' receiving corps has some playmakers. They just need some sort of pulse from the quarterback position and from the O-line to make that work. And that's Tua, and that's the linemen, and that's what they can do, and they need to not overthink things, but they're the Dolphins, so they absolutely will, and they'll screw it up.
Yeah.
As for everything else in the draft, you have Jeffrey Okudah out of Ohio State as well. He's going to be great. Grant Delpit, you know how high I am on him.
Yeah.
Look, we are seeing some of the best draft years in recent history, like back to back, just keep it going. And that's exciting to see. But if players, and we're also seeing GMs be more aggressive with trades, because what are those picks going to do you? They're going to get you something in the future, but if you're one piece away from like seriously winning, do it.
Right.
And GMs are realizing that, and that's a big impact of the NBA on the NFL. But you still need more.
Right, yeah.
And teams that are rebuilding, they have picks, whatever, but those picks need to hit, and that's what they're going for. And that can happen, but they need to not overthink things. People need to stop hating on Tua for just not being. How can you improve from what he did last year? You really can't.
Yeah, you can't.
He led his team to the championship, didn't win it, but he led them there. He looked great all year last year. He's looked very good this year. Stop overthinking things. Like this was the question between Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning, and the Colts made the right decision for Peyton Manning, a player that had gone back 1 extra year when, who knows if he should have. And Ryan Leaf had a great year, but he came out of nowhere. And what did he do when he got to the NFL? He fizzled out. And I have a Ryan Leaf jersey hanging in my room because Ryan Leaf is one of the funniest people ever.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
But you don't overthink things, and that's what a lot of teams are trying to do. I hate the way the NFL draft works. Don't overthink things. Make the smart decision. Go from there. And if I keep hearing teams talk about, look how great this guy is.
Right.
He's come out of nowhere this year. Stop.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll end it on football. The draft is going to be great. The playoffs are going to be awesome this year. And the Browns are collapsing, and I love it. But
yeah, the Browns are collapsing.
Yeah, and we're going to see some coaching changes. Football is really enjoyable right now.
Yeah.
And I hope that doesn't change with teams continuing to tank in a stupid way. So that's what we have to look forward to.
Yeah. Quickly, we have 1 minute left. You want to just say tonight's games?
All right.
Very quickly, tonight's games in the NBA. We got the Pistons and Knicks, the Kings and Raptors, Magic and Mavericks, Wizards and Pacers, Warriors, Rockets, Sixers, Jazz, Bulls, Hawks, T-Wolves, Grizzlies, Bucks, Clippers.
The game to watch there is definitely Sixers Jazz, as Kawhi will not be playing in the Bucks Clippers.
Yeah.
But until then, we'll see you next week.
Yep, same time, same place, same people, different topics. Tilo, tell them where you can find this episode.
It'll be on the BSPN Radio Archive, which is linked in our Instagram, BSPN Radio.
Yep.
Find it there. We got all our shows except for last week's one. uploaded, and they're all great. Give them a listen, and yeah.
Yep.
Bye. And,